Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. As I don't mind saying, we're celebrating my birthday today, and if you can guess that, well, it's not 7-Eleven, but it's close. Okay, so put them together right there. I'm pretty fortunate to be in my 56th year of doing this job. I was 19 when I started, believe it or not, and a lot of folks think I started in the Civil War, but there seemed like there was another war going on when I started that. But
Spanish-American.
Yeah, no, Cooksey, you jumped the gun again, so he can't wait to talk. But anyway, all birthdays are good. But as I said earlier in the show, this is kind of like 2 + 2 + 2 today. Ron Wong is on there as our co-host, and Ron has come up with a couple of guests that are really great. We just had Matt Morgan on the American Crappie Trail. I've got a couple of guests that we haven't even come to yet, and Bill Cooksey, who is our fourth Saturday co-host also, has got a couple of guests, including one that we had to kick off the show, Captain Ryan Lambert. I'm sorry if you missed it. You can go to lroutdoors.com, our website. We should have all this complete show posted on it later this afternoon, so you can go to that. But right now, Bill, you have come up with another guest, and we're going to Florida for this one, which I love to always be at, and look forward to talking to this gentleman who's he's got almost as many irons in the fire as I do. So, Bill, why don't you to introduce our next guest?
Absolutely, Larry, and happy birthday.
Again, yes.
What's that?
I love it. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, the next guest is a fellow I actually met on a podcast a couple of years ago, and we have become huge friends since then. He's one of those people, once you get to know him, you think, how did we not know each other before? He's a fifth-generation Floridian. He lives, I believe, and he may correct me, in Winter Haven, Florida, but fishes the southwest coast of Florida, guides down there, and he waterfowl hunts in South Florida. He is the only full-time waterfowl and fishing guide in the state of Florida. And I have had the opportunity to both hunt and fish with him. So we've gotten to know each other pretty well. And it's Travis Thompson from Cast and Blast, Florida. Travis, how are you this morning?
Good, Cooksey. How's everybody doing there? Happy birthday, Larry.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Yeah, as our famous person who put Memphis on the map would say, thank you very much. All right, everybody knows that in Memphis for sure. But really looking forward. Thank you, Bill, for setting up Travis as a guest, because I like the name Cast and Blast, Florida. And if everybody thinks that's something to do with politics, it doesn't. Okay, it's the outdoors. This man can cast and he can blast. And when he combines the both together to waterfowl and fishing guide, and the podcast that I really want to talk about too, but I know you're a huge conservationist, Bill. You mentioned that about Travis. And Travis, I know in your neck of the woods, talking to Ryan Lambert earlier, to be a conservationist down there in South Florida, what are the things going on in your area?
Well, man, you name it, we got it. I like to teasingly say a lot that Florida is ground zero for a lot of conservation issues. And that's partially just because we got so many folks here. You know, our population is cresting around 21 million, and so you pick it if it's from water quality all the way up and down the state, Everglades restoration. But at the root of a lot of our problems are just population and population growth, and
yes.
You know, it's a thing you don't want to run down either. It's just it's a complicated thing to navigate because we've put so many people down here, and it keeps encroaching on our wild spaces.
A lot of folks, Bill, you have mentioned this. We hear a lot about Florida as a fishing destination. Bill, talk about the other part of Travis' business and the waterfowl situation. Talk about waterfowl hunting in Florida, Bill Cooksey.
Well, we'll talk about the fun part, and then we'll talk about the tough part, which is another thing Travis is involved with
yes.
Aquatic plants and invasives and all of that.
Right.
But the fun part, Travis does something as an outfitter I wish more could figure out a way to do. He is invested in getting new people involved in the sport.
That's what I want to hear.
It's incumbent upon us all to do that.
Yeah.
Travis, would you mind telling us a little bit about that, and then maybe even how it bleeds over into your fishing business?
Yeah, we started a program a couple of years ago called Pay Your Age, and the idea was to set aside a few days a year where, as a guide, I would take people on a duck hunt that had never duck hunted before. So I didn't care if you deer hunted, turkey hunted, whatever. I wanted to get you into waterfowl hunting because you guys all know duck stamp's the single greatest conservation program,
yes, it is,
maybe in the history of the world.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get people buying stamps, get them at least exposed to the sport, understand why we do it, why we love it. And we had a huge success with that. So last year we launched a second program called Help Me Hunt. And in that program, we decided we would see if we could get my clientele, our podcast listeners, to pay for the license fees for folks to come hunt with us.
Really?
And over the past 3 seasons, I think we've put close to 80 people on their first duck.
Wow.
We've had a few more that went and were not successful in harvesting, but they dang sure got to shoot a lot. So
they got the experience. Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun, and it's a thing that I'm super passionate about because we just, you got to put your money where your mouth is, especially if you're a consumptive user of the resource.
Right.
Just like you guys talked to Lambert earlier today.
Yeah.
Brian's a fantastic guy, and he does the same thing. He puts his time in, be it local politics, be it national politics, be it taking people fishing, hunting, whatever. You gotta be willing to put your skin in the game on that. So it's been a really cool program for us.
And also, Bill,
Travis, before we move on from that real quickly, for those of us who maybe have duck hunted for a long time, what are some reasons to come to South Florida? And I'm thinking about certain birds.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah.
Well, we got 3. There's a couple of reasons. One of the reasons most people will know already is plumage. We get the better late season plumage. So your blue wing teals, your ringnecks, stuff like that, we get those in there. It's like everyone you shoot is a rock star.
Everyone wants to be mounted. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other side of it is we've got 3 species that Florida's probably the best spot in the United States to kill, and that's the fulvous whistling duck, the black belly whistling duck, and the mottled duck, which is my favorite all-time bird.
Wow. Okay. We had mentioned mallards. So let's keep ours here. Okay. So when it comes to it, but again, we're talking to Captain Travis Thompson, 5th generation Floridian there in Central Florida, and Bill had mentioned about the conservation side. Bill, what was that you asked him about?
Well, Travis is one of these folks who we need more of. He travels around to as many meetings as he can about things going on in the outdoors. And Travis, do you want to just hit a couple real quick of the hotspot issues in Florida, that people here need to know more about? But then real quickly, and we won't have much time, talk about coming out of this COVID deal and y'all started to fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll actually reverse that a little bit. Coming out of the COVID deal, fishing is fired up, man. Fish are biting, they're jumping into boats. So if you got a trip planned to Florida, if it's me or if it's another guide or whatever, like snook are going off, tarpon are going off, the inshore bite is awesome right now. We got good clean water.
You mean the fish aren't social distancing? Okay, I just want to make sure there because Wong says they do that a lot up here. So
I don't know
if you put something shiny in front of them, they'll bite it right now.
But it is like a bass that has had a cocaine and steroid mix.
What was that, Bill? We missed the first part of that.
If Wong hasn't ever caught a snook before, he needs to get down there.
Oh, I know that.
You have a 5-pound snook, and it is like a 15-pound bass that has had a steroid and cocaine cocktail.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, well, did you just hear Wong hang up? He's coming down there, Travis. Look for him.
I'm on my way.
He's on his way, but you fight some other things and talk about, as we did, how's it been? Now, the fish are on fire. We're trying to get people back, right? I mean, once this has gone through, how's it affected your guide service?
Well, it's affected a whole bunch of guide services.
Yeah.
In that so many of us depend on out-of-state travel.
Yes. Yeah.
So you see, Florida is home to so many conferences and businesses, and so guys will attach a day on to fish when they come down or a day on to Disney when they come down and come fish the coast with us.
Will.
And so
yeah.
That's dried up for us, and we're starting to see it coming back. And I've been more blessed than some folks because I've been doing it a long time, but please, if you can afford to, it's a great time to book a guide and get out there on the water with them and hopefully catch that fish you've always wanted to catch.
Let's talk about this podcast real quickly, because I was really enthused, and I listened to the one that you had Cooksey on there, and also about some guy with a modern carnivore's outdoor feast. I want to go to that. Okay, so talk about this, because it's a great historical hunters. I haven't thought about that. So, Bill, you mentioned this. You came up with, was on the podcast with. That's interesting, right?
Oh, absolutely. You've had some great topics, Travis. Where do you come up with this stuff? How do you choose these?
We try to stay away from fishing reports. There's a lot of folks doing good stuff in that space already. And I'm very cognizant of, you don't want to just generate more content. So Cast and Blast Florida is our podcast. You can find it on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere.
Yes.
And the idea is most conservationists, Bill's a serious conservationist, but he's a heck of a good time too if you ever hang out with him.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
Most people are that way. They're able to talk about music and sports and TV shows and pick on each other. You know, every fishing trip is always you're picking on your buddies or vice versa. So our podcast has really tried to come around the totality of a person. We are outdoorsmen, but that's not all we are.
Yeah.
So we really try to celebrate the wholeness, and we have a lot of fun. We have a Tuesday show that's pretty lighthearted, and then we have a Thursday show that we do interviews that are a lot deeper, take on some more serious conservation issues like spraying or water quality or deer management. I recorded a deer management interview today. So we got a lot going on down there.
Well, I like the Historical Hunters, episode number 134. So you guys have, and girls, ladies, have got it down too, because as I listened to that Historical Hunters podcast. But all right, so tell our people how they can get in touch with you, Travis.
You can find me on most of the social medias at Travis Thompson, not at Travis X Thompson. That's the rapper. Don't go following him and thinking it's me.
Yeah, I did find that out. Yeah, I didn't know if you were two lives down there, and I didn't want to get into that. So okay.
Yeah, I'll throw some beats down for y'all.
Yeah.
The other place you can find me is at Cast and Blast FL. It's all spelled out, Cast and Blast FL. You can find me anywhere there. Send me emails, shoot me a message. I'm on Facebook. I'm all over the place. So Travis at castandblastflorida.com. I'm good to go.
He is Captain Travis Thompson out of Florida. Travis, thank you, buddy. We'll stay in touch. Bill, thank you for setting it up with Travis. Enjoyed the conversation. And again, folks, this will be on lroutdoors.com anytime you want to listen to it, starting later this afternoon. All right, Travis, thank you, buddy. We're going to take a break now. Get out of here. Come right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray.